Hi everyone, for tonight's Nightcap and review, I'm having an adult beverage, and tonight I'll be discussing Love of My Life by author ADJ. I did download this off of KU, and of course I'm giving my honest opinion. This is the second book in the series, and I would recommend that you read them in order. Here are the highlights and the content warnings. And my rating for this book is a 4.5, so what's it about? So this book is about Lewis, whose father made a promise to take care of him one way or another, but little did his father know that promise would send his son down a dark and dangerous path, all starting with the letter of his last words. But this path would not only have darkness and danger, as it would also lead Lewis to his queen and love of his life, as well as to making friends in the most unlikely of places. But with dark forces coming for Lewis, as well as the secrets they are both hiding from one another, will their love be strong enough to keep not just themselves, but those they love safe? So what are my thoughts? Again, I'm giving this a 4.5. Now, this is the second book in this series, but this book will be done from Lewis's perspective, who was introduced in book one. We get his life leading up to the events in book one, and then we get everything from his perspective that happened in that book. And then we get everything that happened after those events, where the two storylines separate, and he is no longer interacting with the characters from book one. I'm trying not to give away spoilers. I will say between the two books, I did prefer this one a little bit more because while both books have a lot of POVs, book one did have a tendency to hop between the past and present, while this one was a more linear timeline, and I did prefer that a little bit more, but I enjoyed both books. Now, this story had everything. It had suspense, action, amazing chemistry between the two MCs, Lewis and Ayaba, who I really enjoyed their story. These two really belonged together. There was also a lot of tension that just kept building and building within the story that just made it so enjoyable, not just because of their issues that they were dealing with together, but their own separate issues, with Lewis being kidnapped by racists who were using him as a lab rat, and then Ayaba's own issues with her father arranging or selling her into a marriage with a really bad guy. But once these two got back together, they were definitely ride or die for each other. They were with each other through the successes, the stumbles, as well as the falls, but they had each other, and they had their plan, and they had their friends and allies there to help them as they got step by step closer to their goal. So I definitely enjoyed their story, but this book does end on a cliffhanger, so keep that in mind. But I am definitely curious to see what happens next and see what happens when all of these stories converge. This book is currently available. I do recommend the series, and I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.